Welcome to Seeing Dead People, the mystery storytelling podcast with a clairvoyant twist. We end every episode with Darcy answering a question from a listener about her psychic process. Whatever is going on in her head, I think it's so cool and astonishing. Now, before we end, I want to do our listener's question. Recently, and I'm going to say, someone I know, I'm not going to name names, experienced one of your readings over the phone. And this gal, I'll give you that, was very, very impressed, I got to say. Really impressed by you, which is, I'm not surprised, but this person was. When I asked how much information she gave you to work from, she said, I gave nothing. Yeah. I was quiet. And yet, Darcy, you were able to confirm many events from her life, circumstances from her life, plus offer insights into her possible future, and I think even provided some coping strategies. So I was amazed. I was just dumbstruck by the stuff she was telling me. And when we speak like we just did today, I give you photographs, I give you a story. You get some information to work from, and you're remarkably able to reconstruct what might have happened in the past. I find that astonishing, but you're working from something. So I want to know, and I don't want you to give us any secrets if you don't want to, but how do you get anything from somebody who is at the end of a phone line and they're dead quiet?
I listen to my guides. Okay, so I was knitting. Okay, so as we're talking here, you've given me no information other than the friend.
Yeah.
So I'm about to say, I was talking to your sister, okay?
Okay.
And I'm knitting, and I never even made the connection.
Mm-hmm. Which is so funny in itself.
Yeah.
I thought you were psychic.
No. I think I actually said something to the effect that I swear I know you. And maybe you just remind me of someone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've heard her talk to me. We've said hello. Then I listened to my guides and her family who had died. And they're giving me all the information. And most of the time I sit there with my eyes closed. If I don't actually knit, because I got to pay attention, I don't drop a stitch, I'll sit there with my eyes closed. And sometimes I feel myself, and it happened yesterday, I feel myself drifting as though I'm going into meditation, and all these images start coming at me. So I have to grab the image, hold on to it, and open up like a book to see what's going on. It's like cracking an egg. You never know if you're going to get 2 yolks or 1 yolk when you're doing it. And so as I do it, I just pay attention to what's coming at me. And some of the, like the cow, Bessie, the heifer. Well, the bee stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think if you look back in time, you're going to find out that a family bossy or something is connected to the market square.
Okay.
So I'll be curious if you do.
Yeah.
Okay. But the name and the Italian connection, there is a strong Italian connection to the name as well as to
that area.
Their area.
Right.
And she was very close to it.
Right, but you're sitting at the end of not a deadline because a person can say something, but they don't say, the idea is they don't say anything.
I don't want them to. I don't know. Because if you tell me something, then I know it, and that's no good. The only time I do ask for clarity, because I'll see an image of a broken ring. So it's like, okay.
Literally a ring like on your finger ring.
Yeah, a broken ring, which means you're divorced, widowed.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll get people and I'll say, okay, I need to clarify, and that's exactly how I do it. I see you single, which for me means you're not living with anyone, you're not dating anyone, you're not serious about anyone.
Okay.
And I've had people go, oh yes, and I go, really? I said, what about the guy you're talking to long distance?
They don't necessarily think of it that way.
Yes.
Right.
So I do occasionally ask for clarity. But most of the time, I just want you to let me talk.
That's amazing. I had no idea what's involved in a reading. And so I'm going to explore that more as time goes by with you in Seeing Dead People. But I was just thunderstruck that, because I kept saying, come on, you must have said something. No, I kept my mouth shut, other than, as you say, asking for clarity. And I think, well, your spirit guides are somehow connecting with that individual,
They
right?
are.
That's what's happening.
So my spirit guides connect with your spirit guides.
Okay.
My dead people connect with your dead people. God forbid you guys all talk a different language, because then my people have to show me pictures.
Yes, right, because you have to have the translation happening.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's obviously a lot easier with English.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
But then again, if I get a British person and the way they say
Yeah.
things, it's totally different.
They sound very different, and they can use different expressions.
And sometimes, like, okay, so I did a reading yesterday and I kept getting E, like Elizabeth.
Right.
Okay, and I kept saying to the lady, are you sure you don't know an E? She said, no. And I went, just a minute. And I started looking and I listed a whole bunch of names, and then I went, Edith. Edith or Edie or E. And she went, yeah, that's my mom.
So she was deliberately keeping back the E?
Yeah.
Does that tick you off?
Oh, it used to, not anymore.
I mean, it's like kind of gaming you, trying to game you. I don't like
Yeah.
that. I mean, are they being sincere with you, having the reading or not?
Sometimes people forget names, which is interesting.
Well, I guess that's possible, yeah. Okay, but your mom's name?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you forget that. I don't think you would. Well, before I let you go, you said something really interesting at the beginning when you were talking about cracking open the egg or
Yeah.
opening the photographs and feeling yourself going into a transcendental kind of meditative state. Do you think they're taking over you?
They're not allowed to.
No, but are they trying?
They're trying, but they're not allowed to.
And is the trying putting you into that meditation?
Yes.
Ah,
The
the
trying
little
is
rats.
putting me into the meditation, and then when I start to feel it, like I'm beginning to drift, I'll take a step back and literally yank myself
Wow.
out their
So they
reach.
can't do it.
Yeah, there's been a deal my entire life.
Yeah.
And occasionally they surprise me and jump in, but they're not allowed to because I can't be as effective.
Well, that would be just one reason. The other reason would be I wouldn't want anybody else taking me over.
Well, yeah, and then I also get fat, so it's like they leave a little plasma behind, which leaves a little stuffing, and
So you think plasma actually exists as fat?
yes.
Really?
Yep, since I've started doing this,
I got to explore that for the future. Plasma equals fat. You could have solved a lot of issues here if we could sort of get rid of plasma, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Darcy. That's great.
Oh, you're
As
welcome.
always. Appreciate it.
Okay.
See you again.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to Seeing Dead People. Whatever's going on in Darcy's head, I think is so cool and astonishing. We'd love to hear from you with questions for Darcy about her psychic process or suggestions for other mystifying situations you would like us to investigate. So please, shoot us an email to info@radiosidney.ca with Seeing Dead People in the subject line. New episodes of Seeing Dead People will emerge on the first Saturday of every month, and will also be available every Saturday night at 8 p.m. and Sunday morning at 10 a.m., both Pacific Standard Time. Seeing Dead People will also be available as a downloadable podcast online at radiosidney.ca for your convenience. Cool news! Seeing Dead People is now a podcast on YouTube. Just search for Nicola Furlong Mysteries, and you will find 3 podcasts of videos dedicated to Seeing Dead People. One for our actual complete episodes, another for Darcy's fascinating answers to our listeners' questions about her psychic process, and a third with teasers highlighting each episode. Thanks so much for listening to Seeing Dead People. I really dig researching, writing, and communicating with Darcy and her otherworldly contacts. So until the next time, remember, Seeing Dead People is a blast with Goosebumps Guaranteed.
This has been a program of Radio Sydney.